everybody. Today I want to discuss a couple things with this win. I'm glad that we got the win. I really do appreciate that. It's cool that we did, but there's a lot of things that we need to talk about this Miami Dolphins team. And the first thing that I'm going to get into, so obviously we won 20-13, and the first thing I need to give a sincere apology to Mr. Vic Fangio. I think I spoke very much too soon, like a lot of people on our Miami Dolphins fan base, where we spoke a little too soon about Vic Fangio. But we'll go over the player stats right now. The Raiders, it was, we should have beat this team. This is a team that we should have beaten. If we lost, it's even more of a problem. But O'Connell was 271, 24 for 41, one touchdown, 3 interceptions. Josh Jacobs held at 39 yards. Devontae Adams had 82 yards, and then Jacoby Myers and Michael Mayer and Renfro basically had the rest. The Miami Dolphins, Tua was 325 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 28 for 39. Mostert had 86 yards on 22 attempts. And then you had Tyreek Hill, which we're going to talk about, 10 receptions for 146 yards and a touchdown. And Jalen Waddle, 4 receptions for 55 yards. And then, a couple others after that. So the first thing I want to talk about, sincere apology to Mr. Vic Fangio. I spoke way too soon. This defense looks awesome. Honestly, at this point, this defense is carrying us. I think if we had the same defense that we had last year, we probably would be like a 500 team at this point. Just because of the way that our offense has been playing in a lot of games. Like, this is not... So I really want to say this, and I don't want to concern everybody, but this offense is starting to concern me, and Mike McDaniel is starting to concern me. I just, when you talk to somebody, and some of them, they are like, that fatherly adult figure, and then some of them, they want to be that fatherly adult, but they keep talking like a little kid. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting with Mike McDaniel, where it's like you see someone like Andy Reid, or you see someone, like Sean McDermott, which I know they're 5-5, but it is what it is. You see someone like, who else do we have? You see some of these coaches, and they're winning games, and they're winning games handily, and they're doing what they need to do. And then you see Mike McDaniel, and I'll give you a perfect example that 30-yard for no reason throw at the end of the first half that got Tua to take a hit and basically did nothing in the game. Well, there are multiple of those plays that are happening. And what I'm going to say is that this is starting to concern me with Mike McDaniel, is that we want him to be an adult, but he keeps acting like a child. And I don't mean to say that as an insult. I'm just saying, as a second-year coach, you're doing the same things you did that made us lose last year. You're making a lot of the same calls. The second thing that I want to talk about with this offense, because we won't get into too much of it, but again, the play calling is starting to become pretty suspect. And the last 3 games, it's been one of those things where it's starting to look like everybody's catching on to us again, and we're just kind of sputtering out at the second half. We can't really move the ball anymore. There's not a consistent flow. Like, we have a first quarter or 2 quarters where we're moving the ball, and usually around 6 minutes into the second quarter, we just start not doing anything, and we just start sputtering out every single play, start making mistakes, penalties, fumbles, yada, yada, yada. And I'm starting to see that it comes down to a couple things. It's the play calling. And the second thing, went over it in the statistics. Tyreek Hill, 10 receptions for 146 yards. Jalen Waddle, 4 receptions for 40-something yards. I'm going to tell you something right now. I think at this point, Mike McDaniel needs to grow up and needs to understand that who cares about this 2,000-yard thing? Who cares, honestly, about what Tyreek Hill wants? Tyreek Hill came to this team to make this team better. And what I think is happening right now, it's become the Tyreek Hill show, where one of the best things that I think was a Tua positive when he first came into the league is that he didn't have any receivers. So he looked at everybody, and he moved the ball and threw it to 8 different players. I think that was the general positive of Tua Tagovailoa. With this second year with Tyreek Hill, it just seems like all Tua is doing is looking at Tyreek Hill every single play, and even if he's not open, he's still throwing him the ball. I think at this point, Vic Fangio needs to sit Mike McDaniel down and just tell him, listen, buddy, you're going to really cost this team a lot if you keep going the route that you're going. Because this team has had plenty of teams score a lot of points against them. And I understand that it's a win is a win, and we did score 20 points. But the problem is that this is probably the same reason why we can't beat good teams. And that doesn't translate well into the playoffs. This needs to stop being the Tyreek Hill show, and this needs to be the Miami Dolphins show. Because even when the Rams were the greatest show on turf, both of the receivers had really, really good seasons. Both of them, not just one. And the thing is I'm sorry to say this, but it just seems like Tyreek Hill, it's all me, I need to get this, I need to be the... And it's not about the team. And I personally think that, isn't it funny, I even tell this to my family, right as Tyreek Hill's out, guess what? Waddle's getting the ball. Waddle's getting the ball a lot, and Waddle's wide open. Isn't that funny to you that Waddle seems to be wide open right when Tyreek Hill is out of the game? Is that not suspicious to you that all of a sudden Tua is spreading the ball all over the field? Isn't that weird to you? There's a reason for that. Because it seems to be that Mike McDaniel has catered this offense to every play target Tyreek Hill, even if he's not open. And I'm sorry to say this, but it just seems like something really childish on Mike McDaniel's part, and it just seems like something that he needs to grow out of, and in order to maintain your status as a head coach and not go back to an offensive coordinator, because yes, I'm saying that, you need to stop making these play calls. Like, for instance, the red zone play where there is one blocker against two defenders, and you're throwing a screen to Tyreek Hill on a fourth down behind the line of scrimmage. You have Jalen Waddle, you have Raheem Mostert, you have Robbie Chosen, you have River Craycraft, who's been great in the red zone. You have a plethora of great players. For you to be targeting the one player behind the line of scrimmage that everybody thinks the ball is going to, it's just childish. It's just childish as a stupid play. The same thing like the end of the half, where it's just stupid plays. The way that the offense needs to run is that Tyreek Hill is not the first read on every single play. That Jalen Waddle is also the first read. Because like I've been saying for weeks, Jalen Waddle cannot have 4 catches for 40 yards. And it is not, there's somebody that said on the last video that he's injured. No, it's not. It is that Tua designed plays is not looking at Waddle. And I promise you, he's wide open on a lot of plays. And it's starting to affect Jalen Waddle, because what it seems like is it's just the Tyreek Hill show. It's all about Tyreek Hill. It's all about getting Tyreek Hill a whole bunch of yards. And yes, he's a dynamic playmaker. But why don't you get this 120, 140 yards off of 7 catches? And then also Waddle gets 140-something yards off of 7 catches, 6 catches. And then other people can get open, so you get them the ball. It literally, we ran the same play over and over again, where it was, the design is to get Savon Ahmed the ball. I don't understand why there's no designs to get Jalen Waddle. Now, of course, there was one streaking down the field, but heck, I'm defending Tua on this one. You're targeting Tyreek Hill all the time. You forget what Jalen Waddle's speed's like. You're not even used to what he's running because you never look at him. And I think it's becoming a problem. I think it's becoming a big issue, and that is something that we need to clear up in these weeks, because I'm getting tired of this Tyreek Hill show where you see 3 defenders on Tyreek Hill, and then we throw one ball to Jalen Waddle in between 3 people, and it doesn't work. So we're like, all right, we're never going to go to Jalen Waddle again. It's starting to become annoying. And the last thing that we really need to talk about is, I think a lot of people are saying a win is a win. But I said this in the video before. Last year, we went into this bye. Things were looking up. Now, we lost before the bye this time, but they were still looking up. We're 6-3. Now we're 7-3, which is great. But we played the Houston Texans. We actually beat Houston much more handedly than we beat this team. And then we went on to struggle for almost the rest of the season. Now, of course, Tua got injured, knock on wood. That's not going to happen. But it almost looks exactly the same. We had all this hope going into the bye week. We were getting all these players back, yada, yada, yada. And of course, the defense is going to be the difference this year. I think the defense is going to carry us the way that the offense is playing. I'll be completely real with you. I think this is going to be a defensive team. I think this offense is just sputtering out like usual. And I think the defense has been saving them for the past 3 or 4 games. But what it seems to be is that every time there's a bye week, Tua gets a little, I don't know what's going on with him. He just looks a little rusty. Like you saw, there was plenty of high point balls that they had to catch that didn't need to be high point. He seems to be a little rusty. And again, just like last year, we're playing against the 49ers. Well, next week we're playing the Jets. And I don't want anyone to sit there and sleep on the Jets. If we can't move the ball against the Raiders, what do you think we're going to do against the Jets? This offense needs to figure it out. Because again, Tua's rusty. Tua looks not that great, and I get he had 300 yards, but he didn't look good. I'm going to be fully honest with you. He looked good in the first part of the half, just like he did against the Houston Texans, and then all of a sudden things just looked very weird. The offense wasn't running properly. Mike McDaniel seemed to panic, and Tua seemed to just stare down Tyreek Hill the rest of the game. It doesn't look good. And this is the same exact thing that happened into last year where we beat the Houston Texans, but it was weird. We didn't really understand what the offense was doing. It didn't look the same as before. And then we play a really good defense. And last year, we get beat down by that defense. We don't play well. Tua doesn't play well. And then, the streak ends. I don't want that to happen this year. And I really do think, again, this year we're in a better spot just because we have an extremely good defense with Jalen Ramsey just being an all-around superstar and exactly what we thought he was going to be, if not better. Especially with Vic Fangio and this defense, it's all come together. This team is going to be a defensive team. And I think what's really going to hurt us in the long run at this point is the same thing that hurt us last year. Mike McDaniel's play calling and his childish way of play calling and what's going on with the offense. Again, it just seems again like the offense has been figured out and that they can't move the ball and that we can't move the ball very well once teams start catching on to us. And I don't like that. I think there's a lot of trickery, all this crap, when in reality this team needs to just be a good offense. I feel like as though a lot of these plays are designed for something. And they're not designed in case the play breaks down. They're not designed for Tua to look somewhere else. And I feel as though, again, like you saw, because of Tyreek Hill, which not taking anything away from him, he's a great player. Once he was out, Tua started spreading the ball around to the fact that I actually kind of was I hope they just give him a rest. Because I feel as though once you take Tyreek Hill out, Tua doesn't feel forced to look that way every single play. And it's really hurting this whole offense. And I think we all really need to take a step back because, again, Tyreek Hill has been like this since, he became a superstar. And it's just been, a lot of I, me, I, me, I need to do this, me, beat me, I, me. I'm going to get 2,000 yards. I'm the best receiver. I don't care about that. If you wanted to go get 2,000 yards and even get 3,000 yards, go to the Jets. Go to one of those teams that isn't really competing with anything. Go to the Patriots. Let them throw you the ball 20 times a game. Go ahead. But you came to the Dolphins because you want to make a Super Bowl run. And it's not about you. It's about the team. And it can't be that every game Tyreek Hill's getting 11 receptions and Jalen Waddle and everybody else is getting 3, maybe 4. That can't be the case. Especially, it's not like it's a Mac Hollins on the other side of the receiving corps. It's a Jalen Waddle. On any other team, he'd probably already have 800 to 900 yards on any other team. But with this team, of course, stupidly, Mike McDaniel just keeps targeting Tyreek Hill every single game. Every single play. There's end arounds, there's this, there's that. And I think maybe you can stop trying to be so smart and being stupid at the same time and do the same stuff, but also do it for Jalen Waddle. Because if Tyreek Hill's getting the ball 11 times a game, eventually teams start seeing, it's just going to go to Tyreek Hill every time. He's not looking anywhere else. If you get it to Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill becomes more open because he's not getting the ball every down. Isn't that surprisingly smart? I just, again, I'm worried about this team. I'm worried about this offense because, again, I think Mike McDaniel, I think we've all said a bunch of things that we keep wanting him to fix, and he doesn't. Every single game, he doesn't. It's the same crap over and over again. And at least with Tua, he learns from his mistakes. He learns about himself. He understands what not to do. Every time he throws an interception, he goes back down the field. With Mike McDaniel, he just seems to make the same stupid mistakes over and over and over and over again. And it's just becoming frustrating because this is your second year. You don't have that rookie dust on you anymore. These are things that needs to stop. And it needs to stop. It just needs to stop. This is ridiculous, and it's going to cost us games. Because, again, we're going to play good teams. I don't want to be the team that goes in the playoffs and loses in the first round. I don't want to be that team. I want to make a push. And if you face a good team in the playoffs, I mean, heck, you even face someone like the Houston Texans, their offense would probably blow us out. At this point, if we play the way that we played, it just doesn't look good. So I want to see next game, the Jets is going to be the telltale sign. I speak words to you right now. It's going to be the telltale sign to see where this Dolphins team is. Are they competing or are they slouches? Because by no means is that a winnable game. That is a game that will be difficult, and it will have a lot of defensive plays. And it's going to be on the offense to make a play. I promise that. I promise you that. It will be on the offense to make a play. And if they play like this game, there's a possibility that we could take that loss. The Jets are no slouch. They are no slouch. Their defense is serious. Need to figure it out. Mike McDaniel needs to grow up, honestly. But on a positive note, we're 7-3. And we look okay. We're doing well if we figure these certain things out. But, again, a lot of us said the same stuff last season, and we ended up being right. This is going to be something that needs to be fixed, or else we're not going to go far in the playoffs. We're not going to do the things that we want to do, and that's the whole point. We want to win a Super Bowl. We don't want to go to the playoffs once every 3 years and lose in the first round. That's not what we want. We want to be a stable team for a while, and this is now on Mike McDaniel because the defense has been figured out. The defense is there. This is on Mike McDaniel to correct his mistakes because now the flashlight is on you, buddy. It is completely on you because now the only thing that's holding us back is this offense. The thing that was supposed to be this superior thing. The offense is holding this team back. This can't be the case, man. But hope you all have a great rest of your day. As always, guys, fins up, baby. Peace.